The Buffalo Bills just made a move that almost nobody saw coming, and once you hear the real reason behind it, you'll understand why this might be the most important off-season decision in franchise history. Let's get one thing straight right now. Buffalo is not playing around this off-season. While most fans were still recovering from the draft, the Bills' front office was already working behind the scenes, quietly hunting for the kind of veteran players who don't show up on highlight reels but absolutely show up when January football arrives. And here's the question every Bills fan needs to ask themselves. Is this roster actually built to last through the most brutal schedule stretch any AFC team will face in 2026? Because after everything we're about to break down today, you might not sleep tonight. Buffalo's secret weapon hunt. According to NFL insider Jamie Malalieu, the Buffalo Bills are actively targeting experienced, affordable veterans before their voluntary workouts kick off on May 18th. And honestly, this move tells you everything about how Brandon Beane is thinking right now. The Bills are sitting on just over $10 million in available cap space. Spotrac confirmed it. That's not a lot of room. But Beane has turned financial chess into an art form, and right now, 3 specific names keep coming up as realistic targets. First up, outside linebacker Jeremiah Moon, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Moon is not a name that makes headlines. He won't sell jerseys. But at 6'4", 225 pounds, he fits Jim Leonhard's defensive system like a glove. He already knows how to operate in a 3-4 scheme, and more importantly, he brings the kind of veteran toughness this defense has been missing since the roster got younger through the draft. Here's the part that really matters though. Moon would serve as a direct mentor to rookie TJ Parker, Buffalo's second-round pick out of Clemson. The Bills don't just need young legs, they need experienced voices in that locker room. Someone who has survived the grind and can teach these younger guys what it actually takes to win late in the season. And at an estimated cost of around $1 million. That's borderline robbery for what Moon brings to the table. But Moon is just the beginning. Because there's another position on this roster that's quietly becoming a real problem. The defensive line crisis. Nobody wants to admit Buffalo missed out on Caden McDonald in the draft. Then they lost DJ Reeser in free agency. That leaves the defensive tackle room looking thin, and in a season where the Bills are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, thin is not acceptable. Enter Greg Gaines. The veteran defensive tackle tips the scales at over 300 pounds of pure run-stopping muscle. Yes, the Bills are excited about Deon Walker, 6'4", 330 pounds of raw upside, but stacking a roster with too many unproven young linemen in a championship window is a gamble that has burned teams before. Gaines gives this defensive line immediate credibility against the run. He provides stability while the younger guys develop. And in a division where you face physical offenses multiple times a year, that kind of experience up front is not optional, it's essential. But wait until you hear the reunion story that has the entire Bills Mafia buzzing right now, because this one hits different. The return nobody expected cornerback Tre'Davious White. Back in Buffalo. And according to Jamie Malalieu, Brandon Beane has already quietly signaled that he'd welcome White back with open arms after his release. And honestly, this makes perfect sense on every level. Tre'Davious White is not just a cornerback. He is Buffalo Bills royalty. Even through the injury struggles, White put up 29 tackles, 1 interception, and 10 passes defended last season. Those numbers prove the talent is still there. But beyond the statistics, White brings something you simply cannot draft or develop overnight: leadership, experience, and the ability to mentor a secondary that just got a lot younger. Names like Maxwell Heiston, Davidson Igbinison, and Tariq Pride Jr. are going to be counted on heavily this season. Having White in that room, guiding them through the chaos of a playoff push, could be the difference between a first-round exit and a deep January run. Now here's your comment challenge. Who is the most important veteran the Bills should sign before OTAs? Drop the name below and tell us why. The Keon Coleman problem. Alright, let's have the uncomfortable conversation. When Buffalo selected Keon Coleman with the 33rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the expectation was clear. This was their wide receiver of the future. Their WR1. Josh Allen's next great weapon. Instead, heading into 2026, Coleman has become one of the most talked about disappointment stories in the entire league. And now rival teams are openly taking shots at him on social media. The Los Angeles Chargers fired the first public shot. During their viral schedule release video, the Chargers used a Halo-themed presentation to directly mock Coleman's early popularity in Buffalo, specifically targeting that famous cookie press conference moment that made him a fan favorite during his rookie year. Bills fans absolutely loved that moment. Social media went crazy. Coleman got the nickname Cookie Monster almost overnight. But personality does not catch touchdowns. And the NFL has a short memory for charm when production isn't there. Here are the cold hard facts. Through 2 NFL seasons, Coleman totaled 67 receptions for 960 yards and 8 touchdowns. Against a WR3 standard, those numbers are acceptable. But Buffalo did not draft him to be a WR3. They traded away Stefon Diggs, betting that Coleman would eventually become Josh Allen's primary target. That bet has not paid off yet. According to Bills columnist Alex Brasky, Coleman actually lost the coaching staff's confidence at certain points during the 2025 season and was benched during multiple games due to consistency issues. Route running problems. Struggles creating separation against elite corners. Difficulty getting open in critical moments. And here's what makes this even more alarming. Other NFL teams are watching. When the Chargers feel comfortable enough to publicly mock your second-round pick on their official social media, it means Buffalo's offensive struggles are no longer a secret. They've become a league-wide conversation. Brandon Beane and offensive coordinator Joe Brady are still publicly backing Coleman. The belief in his potential hasn't completely disappeared. But in the NFL, patience has an expiration date, especially when you're trying to compete for a championship right now. The schedule that could break Buffalo. Now here's where things get genuinely scary. Because the biggest threat to the Buffalo Bills in 2026 might not be Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or any single opponent. It might be the calendar itself. Starting in late October, the Bills could be staring down one of the most punishing stretches any team has faced in recent memory. Back to back to back to back to back, the Baltimore Ravens, the Minnesota Vikings, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Kansas City Chiefs. That is not a schedule. That is a survival test. Baltimore comes in first, and they are built specifically to wear teams down physically. Lamar Jackson forces every defender to stay locked in for 60 straight minutes. There is no relaxing against this offense. Every single play demands your full attention. Then comes Minnesota. Kyler Murray running the Vikings offense with Justin Jefferson creating nightmares on the outside. Completely different style. Completely different speed. One week you're fighting in the trenches against Baltimore. The next you're trying to cover the best route runner in football across a wide open field. After that, the division wars begin. The New York Jets defense is specifically designed to make Josh Allen's life miserable. And Miami under Malik Willis brings a completely different kind of chaos. Fast-paced, unpredictable, and absolutely exhausting to defend against when your legs are already heavy from the previous 3 weeks. And then, on Thanksgiving Day, Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid. The ghosts of every January collapse. Look, regular season wins against the Chiefs don't erase playoff losses. That shadow still hangs over this franchise. If Buffalo walks into Thanksgiving already beaten up and emotionally drained, it won't just be a football game. It'll be a psychological battle, and history says the Bills haven't always won those. That's exactly why Beane went out and added Bradley Chubb, Geno Stone, and CJ Gardner-Johnson this offseason. This front office knows what's coming. They know this team has the talent. The question now is whether they have the depth, the stamina, and the mental toughness to survive that brutal stretch and still be standing when the playoffs begin. Because if they do survive it, this version of the Buffalo Bills could be the most dangerous team in January football. Bills Mafia, now it's your turn. What is your biggest concern heading into the 2026 season? Is it the defense still needing veteran help before OTAs start? Is Keon Coleman running out of time to prove he belongs as Josh Allen's true number 1 receiver? Or is that absolutely terrifying mid-season schedule the thing keeping you up at night? Drop your biggest fear in the comments below and let's talk about it, because this Bills season is about to be unlike anything we've seen before.